This all happened when I was around 4 years old and my sister was 10. At the time, we were both living in our old house in a small town on the outskirts of the city. Since I was only 4 at the time, I don't remember much of this myself, but it seems something that has been brought up in the family every 5 to 7 years. And still to this day, my sister hates talking about it even though she does remember it. It all started with small things, such as my parents hearing sounds coming from my sister's room late at night. It was as if someone was moving things around and you can hear footsteps or something. When they go check, they would find her walking around a room in a circle, as if she was sleepwalking. No matter what it was in her way, she would continue to trace the path of the circle. For example, if there was a chair in her way, she would walk on top of it. My parents kept sweets in the cabinet in the kitchen that neither of us could reach. However, sometimes in the morning they would find empty wrappers scattered around in the kitchen, and even went in the bed with her. When they asked her how she got the sweets, she said that the nice lady helped her get them down. Sometimes she brought up about the nice lady and said that she always asked her to come with her. This made my sister really sad, and she told my parents that she didn't want to leave. I don't know if this happened before or after the other incidents. The one thing, my parents remember very clearly that this is almost every night around midnight while laying in bed, they would hear footsteps coming from the stairs and towards their bedroom. They would just lay in their bed terrified, waiting for my sister to either enter the room like she did, and basically do this every night. She would go to the foot of their bed and stand there staring at them. She would then start talking, but not in language that neither of my parents understood. But it was clearly a language. My parents weren't sure what to do. They talked to a few close friends about it. One of them, whom was very skeptical of these kind of things, was staying over late one night. While they were having coffee in the dining room, my parents all of a sudden went quiet. Their friend looked at them, but went quiet as well once he heard the footsteps. My sister came into the dining room and started talking, again in that strange language that they didn't understand. After that incident, their friend agreed that it was fucked up and he never came over late at night again. Well, as strange as what my sister used to do at night, I myself used to sleepwalk a lot. We had bunk beds and I used to sleep in the top bunk. Instead of holding the ladder as I crawled down, I would somehow walk as if it was normal stairs, not using my hands, facing forward as I walked down the ladder. Sometimes I would go to the front door and take the keys that were hanging from the nail by the door. I would unlock the door and go stand outside in the dark between the house and the barn. I have a third sister who is older, but nothing weird like ever happened to her as far as I can remember. So far, everything that happened was at home, mostly late at night. We went to a small private school with about 100 kids, so everyone kind of knew each other. One day after dropping my sister off at school, my mom stood around in the parking lot talking with some older parents. After about 10 to 15 minutes, they saw my sister and a few other kids in her class walking towards them. They didn't say anything, but my mom and the other parents could see that something was wrong. When they went over to the classroom, the rest of the kids were still sitting in their seats, nothing else to say, just sitting there. A lot of them had wet themselves, and the teacher seemed really upset, but she couldn't or wouldn't say what had happened. The teacher never came back to work that day. This was very unusual for the teacher at our school, who normally really cared about her work with the kids and wouldn't just leave. Years after this, when I was around 19, I go to the teacher after my mom told me her name. I found her website and it looked like she now works as a psychologist or some type of spiritual guidance thing. After dealing with all of this for a while, my mom took my sister to a medium who told her that my sister had some type of connection with the universe. She said that she could close this connection if my mom wanted her to, but that it would always be opened again. Following the visit, they didn't experience any of the strange behavior incidents again. I thought about contacting the teacher and asking her what happened that day in the classroom, but my mom told me that it was a bad idea. I still kind of want to do it though. It's been so many years and I still don't know what to make of this. It still creeps me out, even thinking about it to this day. Other strange things that used to happen in that house as well, like the lights turning on and off and our pets acting weird. While this isn't directly related to what happened to my sister, if any of you guys are interested in hearing about the house, I can add it in the comments. I've never really told this story to anyone outside my family. Whenever I thought about it, I would just feel weird and kind of scared.
Posted by u/limerick 4 days ago. I shouldn't have helped. To all you kind people out there that are nice and welcome to others, continue to do what you do. It brings hope to many people in this, honestly, cruel world. However, always look out for yourself and make sure to always go with your gut when necessary. Do not make the mistake I made. So now, on to the story. My name is James. I was 26 at the time, and I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment in North Dakota with my best friend Alex. We both had jobs with decent pay, and we saved up some money beforehand so we were able to afford the place and pay the rent. Now this detail may be significant, so I'll explain it. I wasn't very threatening for being that age. I was pretty skinny. I was an average height, around 5'9"ish. I also wasn't very muscular, so I was an obvious pick for some person to victimize. Now this story took place in the middle of December. It was snowing outside, the temperature was in the 20s, and although I was used to the cold, I always preferred being indoors, of course. My friend was away that week to visit some family, so I was alone at the apartment, which did not help one bit. It was the weekend, so I stayed up late since I could sleep for longer than usual. Anyways, it was a pretty normal night. I was just chilling in bed with some popcorn I heated up, and was watching a ton of movies. By the time the last movie ended, I realized that was really late, around 3 a.m. I decided then I would try to get some sleep and shut off the TV. I have trouble falling asleep a lot, so I just tossed and turned while remaining awake. I would say about 10 minutes passed and then I heard knocking on my front door. I was puzzled. Who in their right mind would knock on someone's front door at this time in the morning? I forced myself out of bed and walked to answer the door. Through the peephole I could see a woman that looked fairly young, most likely around the same age as me, if not a bit older. She wasn't too tall or too short, had black hair and was wearing winter clothing. She wasn't very intimidating. I asked through the door, "Hello, who are you?" She looked up at the people with a look of excitement. I figured it was because someone answered. She wouldn't have to be out there in the freezing weather anymore. She said, "Sorry to bother you, but I'm lost, and I can't find my way back home. My boyfriend ditched me and left me on the road. Can you help me, please?" My gut was telling me something wasn't quite right, but I felt bad for her and didn't want her to stay out there in the winter weather all morning. I replied to her with, "Of course, come in," and then I unlocked the door. I regret that decision so much. She looked at me innocently and told me, "Thank you so much. I promise I'll be out of here soon." I assured her that it wasn't a problem and that I didn't want her to freeze out there. She gave me a smile and asked my name. I told her, and she told me it was a very nice name. I just shrugged it off and accepted the compliment. Upon asking what hers was, she said it was Laura. I offered to make her something to eat if she was hungry. She appreciated the offer, but told me she wasn't hungry. I set up the pull-out couch in the small living area for her, since I didn't want to let her use Alex's room without his permission, and I explained this to her. At first she looked a bit confused. "You don't live alone?" This question made me a bit suspicious, but I figured it was that she was just curious. "No, my friend lives with me, but he's away right now to see his family." Her face looked almost relieved. She just gave me another smile and told me, "Okay." I shut off the lights and went to my room, told her good night, and I attempted to fall asleep. But, as I said before, I don't sleep too easily. After staying awake for about an hour, I decided to get a glass of water. When I walked to my kitchen, I looked in my small living room and noticed something strange. Laura was not on the pull-out mattress. I was confused and a bit creeped out, but I figured she was probably just using the bathroom. That was, until I noticed something else. I could make out a figure crouching under the mattress. That raised a red flag. I remained as calm as I possibly could and casually made my way back to my bedroom. I shut the door and locked it behind me. As I stood there in confusion, I realized something terrifying. I am a very organized person, and I can usually notice when something is out of place, even if something minor. Thinking back on when I entered the kitchen, I realized that a cleaver was missing from the wood block on the counter. I feared for my life. I took my phone and immediately called the police. I explained very quietly what was going on. They assured me someone was on the way. Then I heard my doorknob turn. I froze, not saying anything. After a good attempt to open the door, I heard that once innocent-sounding voice call it, "Oh, James!" I just stood there on the line with the operator and didn't reply. She then let out a laugh that sent chills down my spine. There's no way that it could actually be happening. I was just hoping it was some sick joke or something. A moment or two passed. Silence. All of a sudden, my thoughts about being some absurd prank had disappeared in an instant. I heard violent banging against the door, and a combination of maniacal laughter and screaming. I stayed on the line with the operator, telling them that I was still there and to hurry. It felt like an eternity hearing those horrific sounds, until I heard the police sirens. When this happened, Laura ran as fast as she could, but it was too late for her. The police caught her and then got me out of my room, telling me not to worry, that I was safe now. My bedroom door was sliced in multiple areas with that damn cleaver. I called Alex and explained to him what had happened. He sounded genuinely concerned for my safety, and he said he was coming back early. I appreciated that so much from him because I felt safer with him around. A few years had passed since that incident. I have now moved, but I still get uneasy thinking about that situation. They don't lie when they say looks can be deceiving.
The next one, posted by user/bearded-veteran. I was almost forced to kill a man. Allow me to preface this and explain that the following days leading up to this, we first thought something or someone was in our house. My wife and I are newlyweds, you would say, and we just had our first child together. His name is Thomas. At the time, he was 6 months old. This is a 3-bedroom shotgun house, a starter home that needed a little work. The setup goes like this. Living room, our bedroom, bathroom, period, nursery, period, office and kitchen, period, from front to back in that order. A huge backyard leading to a back alley. We were thrilled to have gotten the house in a quiet neighborhood, such a decent price. I immediately go to work before moving in, fixing little things, plumbing related, cleaning new floors and such. Eventually we have everything move-in ready. We have no neighbors on either side of us. Lucky us, I thought. The detail is important for what follows. We're living here for a few months with no issues. Me working a lot and the wife stays at home mom. As we lay in bed the very warm, dark night, both of us begin to hear loud banging noises coming from what seemed to be every room in the house. I grab my 3-cell police mag light into my Beretta 9mm with 16 rounds. I'm searching the house, it's completely quiet. I find nothing. There's no animals or anything. The flashlight is turned off. I go back to bed, putting my gun on the bedside table, only for a few moments later to hear it again, almost simultaneously in every direction. Every wall is being banged on. Bang, slam. What the hell, hon? Are you hearing this? I ask my wife. This happened several more times. I continue to search the house, inside and out. I even go into the crawl space under the house. Nothing. At this point, I'm confused because these noises are coming from inside the house. Very loud sounds, like if something were to slam a door near you, you'd know it was close. I arrive back in the house and my wife tells me she's calling the cops if it happens again. It does happen one more time. So, being the protective mom she is, she phones the police. 2 officers arrive, their guns are drawn, and brass lights bright. I also do the same thing. Stay here, I urge my wife. I join them and we scour every inch of the property. Again, nothing. No sounds, no sign of anything or anyone. One of the officers tells me it could have been trapped. Dumbfounded look at my face. No way, I think. These sounds were loud. Several days pass and a similar incident occurs. I think nothing of it since we could never locate the source nor could ever find out what the hell it was until I do. The ceiling light bulb in the living room explodes. At this point, we're pretty on edge though, and still alert to each and every sound, especially seeing how we have no neighbors close to us. My wife asserts this must be a ghost warning us of something. But what? I come home from a long night of work. It's dark and rainy, approximately 3 a.m. I'm walking towards the nursery to get my son changed his diaper and make him a fresh bottle. You know, loving dad stuff. I bring him into the bedroom and hold him close to my wife by my side. Time passes, maybe an hour or so. My wife tells me she hears something walking around outside. Are you sure? I ask. Just then a loud crash comes from the very large living room window. I hand the baby over to her, grab my Beretta. Without thinking, I run straight to where I heard the sound. I'm now in the hallway, staring into the eyes of a shadowy figure about 10 feet away. To my horror, there's a middle-aged man crawling through our window, shattered glass everywhere, coupled with a large, heavy object now sitting in the middle of our living room floor. At this point, I don't know how many there are, if there's multiple. What are their intentions? My gun's raised, and my heart beats racing. I yell at the intruder. What the hell are you doing? Take one step closer and I'll blow your damn head off. I wasn't being courageous or some tough badass by any means, but at that moment, my family's life in danger. I'm John Wick. John Wick wanted a puppy, though. The intruder is standing there, soaking wet, barely moving or saying anything. He mumbles after a brief moment, I ain't gonna hurt you, man. I move a few steps closer to the burglar. Quote, hurt me? Ha ha, I yelled. I will flippin' end you. Get out of my house as I inch closer. I realize this motherfucker's so drunk he has no idea where he is or what's going on. I suppose our front porch light was a beacon of sorts for this crazed individual. My wife has the police dispatcher on the phone, eventually arrived after over 20 minutes. It was a Mexican standoff as we waited. I couldn't begin to tell you what I was willing to do in the face of known danger. Gun's a very powerful chemical. Literally make you invincible. Police are here and they arrest the guy. Turns out he had a warrant out for his arrest. Quote, assaulting a judge. I feel fortunate this day I had my gun in training. I'm also happy I didn't kill a guy over a window. While police later told me it was more than justified. They both said in unison, I would have shot him. Now, had he been violent and charged at me, this would certainly clean up a dead body that night. To the would-be burglar. Next time, you won't be so lucky.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys of course did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button down below. Also, Alex, what else should they do?
Hit that little bell.
And also we
Or the
do,
gong, I don't know, whichever sound effect you play.
yeah, if I remember to. But also we want to give a big thanks to GreatSaiyaRye for helping us out in this narration. He was an amazing guy, and hopefully we can do more with him in the future.
All of the butter voices.
Yes. Now, there is a little thing that we have right now is that we have not been uploading constantly as we would like to. The main reason is Alex is down in Michigan. He's been spending time with his family. But, Alex, when are you supposed to be coming back?
15th of July-ish.
Yes. So, what this basically means is that we are hopefully going to start getting back into the consistency of the uploads of once a week. Alex is going to try and record another like Reddit story that he found off while I'm recording another one. Hopefully I can put it all together like I did here.
Sorry for the stitching, folks. It's gonna have to deal with it.
Yes, because Alex is not on his snowball right now. He's still in Michigan as we're recording this outro, and it's freaking 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, dude, you know what? I recorded the audio 10 minutes ago because I just don't have time. And even when I do have time, I have better things to do. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We can probably consistently get you guys one in the next
But
week, maybe.
I also want to say this though, that a reason why I haven't been active on my like solo creepypasta channel, like if you guys are like like have seen some of my videos, you've noticed I haven't uploaded in a couple weeks. Is also one of the main reasons why we haven't been uploading on this channel, because normally if Alex is unable to record, I'll just record a solo video, upload it to both channels. The reason why I have not been uploading at all, like even a solo vid on this channel, is because I've been having some family problems that I think is more important than reading creepypastas, you know? So hopefully you guys understand with that. But once again, thanks to GreatSaiyaRye for taking time out of his day. I know he's been working on a bunch of projects. I'll leave a link to his YouTube channel. He does gaming, but he decided to go ahead and do this. So big thanks to him. He's a real good
much appreciated to him. Go check him out.
Yes.
I don't personally watch his content, but I hear it's good.
I mean, if you like Dragon Ball Z like playthroughs, you know, that is some good stuff right there. I really enjoy it. Let's get him to 100 subscribers by the end of the summer.
He doesn't even have 100, really? Wow.
He almost has 100. It's really good.
100. I don't know. We're recording an outro. It's 2:30 in the morning.
Yes.
And I don't know. Life is hard.
Yes, it is. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and yeah.
Take it easy, folks.
See you guys later.